Hi, everybody, and welcome. I'm so excited to have you here on K and Lee TV. Today, I have a special guest. His name is Jacob Hacker. He is a contestant of The Mole on Netflix. He is also an actor, model, and was recently featured in the 2024 edition of the Australian Firefighters Calendar. Hi.
Hey, it's good to be here with you.
Yeah, I'm so excited to have you here. It's been so lovely to kind of take a glimpse into what you've been up to. Like all of your photos and videos are so exciting. It just looks like you're having such a fun time.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, it's hard for you and I to link up and actually get to talk. We're both so busy. It's few and far between. It's hard to schedule time, but yeah, I have been having a blast. It's
Yeah.
something new almost every day.
Yeah, that's so fun. And we made it work. So I'm very
Yeah,
honored
we
to
did.
have you here. Yeah. So, what I wanted to kind of bring to the channel, if you guys have been following my journey, I recently went from writing to now behind the camera and in front of the camera, and lots of things have happened. So, I'm really excited to get Jacob's take on what it's been like kind of stepping foot into this entertainment world because you come from like a firefighter background originally. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, the entertainment world, how I even got here, I have no idea. It just
I know.
happened. I, my life's journey, I never knew where I was going with my life. Never had any inkling on what I even wanted to be when I grow up. I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up. I know I'm getting
And that's
older.
okay.
But 100%, I got into the fire service. I'm a paramedic, firefighter, went into public safety. And then it's really strange to see someone transition from the blue collar work into the arts.
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't get it or understand, but it was just a passion I had. And I started, turning more heads, getting more recognition, I guess you could say. And I just took it and ran with it. It was almost a domino effect, seeking agency representation, then getting work, and then domino effect to Netflix series, to international model. And, here we are. I, I might be on the cover of a book someday. I don't know.
Wink, wink.
Wink, wink.
I love that though. And it's so fascinating because people sometimes have these preconceived notions that there's like one way, there's only one way to get into film or modeling. And literally, it could be some fated event that lands in your lap. And next thing you know, you're doing all of these projects and opening your awareness to the potential you had all along.
Oh, goodness. Exactly. Never say never.
Yeah.
Especially with the younger kids and the younger generation. You and I were probably the same way. I would have never thought in a million years I would be able to do the things I've done today. I
Mhm.
didn't think I'd be anything. I had very low self-esteem, hated myself, everything. And then that's what I like to stress when I talk to the kids, the younger generation, especially when I go do talks at schools or things of that nature. I
Mhm.
really stress to them that you may not know what you're going to do with your life, and that's okay because most adults don't, but you don't have to have it all figured out right now.
Yes.
And they love that. They love seeing someone who came from nothing, especially middle of nowhere where I'm from, and doing these
Mhm.
crazy, wonderful things. It gives them a little bit of light and helps them a little bit.
Yeah, that's so special. Where are you from?
Northwestern Ohio. So it's
Okay.
funny, if you watch The Mole, everybody has like a city and state. I
Hmm.
can't do that. I'm from what's called Bloomville, Ohio. It's a village. Like
Oh,
if
it's
you look
a
out
village.
if you look out my window right now, I live in the middle of the woods. Like
Oh, that's awesome.
the closest city to me, I mean, I'm like an hour and a half north of Columbus, an hour and a
Okay.
half south of Cleveland. So middle of
Okay.
nowhere.
Yeah. Wow. See, yeah, that too is inspiring to, come from your village that you don't feel like a lot of people are that they know about it, and like, people think you have to go to LA or New York
Mhm.
to get into these things, and literally it could happen to anyone. And it's so cool because I remember like the best advice I got, like still, it's like the best advice I ever got. Like I write fantasy, but I went to a mystery writers convention one time just because it was the first thing I saw in my area, and I was like, I'm gonna go, even though I don't write the genre. Long story short, I met a few authors during the break, and we had lunch. And one guy was like, "Well, the best advice I could give to you is to put yourself in the path of luck." And I was like, it didn't even make as much sense to me then as it does to me now, because every big break I've had, I have done the work that put me in the position to be noticed or to have luck find me. So, do you feel like you kind of had the same experience?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's a good way to put it too. Put yourself in the path of luck.
Mm-hmm.
Things just seem to happen. If I try, put myself out there, I just happen to stumble upon all of these great opportunities. They just
Yeah.
happen by luck. And so it's just from me taking that chance, taking that step. Success is just on the other side of fear. Get over your fear, put
Mm-hmm.
yourself out there, and who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's great advice. And I also love that you are kind of like giving back to your community and inspiring children. That is so special. And you mentioned that growing up, you were kind of like not the best, you didn't have the highest self esteem. And that's a big blockage to overcome to even get past that, to feel like you are worthy of the things that come to you or that you're able to accomplish these things. What do you think was the biggest factor in overcoming those things?
Wow, hitting me hard with the deep questions here. Um, I think you remember what it's like when you were a teenager and how
Mhm.
horrible, I don't want to say puberty, but you're experiencing life for the first time,
Yeah.
pain, sorrow, heartache, rejection, failure. And I think once you start to get a lot of that, I hate to say under your belt, but
Hmm.
my biggest mental step was learning that no matter how much I fail, there's still going to be success.
Hmm.
And after a few of those major milestones in my life where, holy cow, I did something I never thought I'd be able to do. Let's see if I can do it again. Okay, yeah, failure, 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 failure. But hey,
Hmm.
another success. So that's great. And, you know, people don't see how much failure is involved with anybody. We
Hmm.
all go through so much. And so I think my biggest thing was when I took control of my own life. I started taking control of, my fitness journey, my weight, because I struggled with my weight my whole life. I was a very, very unhealthy young man
Hmm.
and very obese. And so I started taking control of that and directing my life in a way that I knew could open up doors for me. And I just took it and ran. And like I said, I just pushed myself past the fear and opened up more opportunities for myself.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love that. And I'm glad you said that, because a lot of people are afraid of failure, but they don't understand. Like that's how you get to that's how you get to your dreams. Like
All
it's
part of the
not,
growth.
yeah, it is. Like if you didn't experience that rejection or that failure and build yourself back up and gather and foster that resilience, what do you do when you do get success? Like, how do you hold on to it if you've never lost anything? Like, it's like a it's like a big epiphany moment when you get through a few of those. You're like, I'm glad I experienced that because now I understand how this works and what to do when this happens. So, yeah,
And
I
then it
love
opens
that.
a whole nother door of,
Hmm.
you know, issues in your life once you get that success, how short
Hmm.
lived it is.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure you've had that with some of your books or, in life when you're like, wow, this was huge. And then it's gone.
Yeah.
Then you're like,
Yeah.
that was fun. It's like, the mole. Netflix pumps out so many shows all the time. Man, I
Yes.
was I was like an A-list celebrity. I felt awesome for about a month. And then it just who's Jacob Hacker? One of those things. So you're always chasing and you're always trying to
Yeah.
build off of that success, using what you've accomplished to create new opportunities and bigger and better things. So that's the next step in the process, you know, trying to understand how you continue on with life and continue to get more success.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't rest on your laurels, as they say. Like, you get there, like, the people who are the most successful are the ones who don't take it for granted. They're either going into different areas, diversifying, you know, building that stability is so important. Like, Rihanna, like, incredible singer. You know, you go into acting, now she owns a brand, now she's a billionaire. Like, it's so inspiring, and it is those people who diversify who have that longevity. So,
I want to bring
yeah.
myself out of the dumps. I just listened to Umbrella. You know, that
Oh,
song just gets me every
yeah.
time. I'm like, oh, Rihanna, yes, let's do this.
That's amazing. So, I do want to know, I want to get into, like, coming from being a firefighter, paramedic, and then being on the mole. Like, what was that experience like? The casting to being on location.
Oh, I'll take it one step farther back for you there,
Yeah.
because when you add, you know, the fire service and all of that together, oh, it's very hard to explain. The experience in itself was something that I had never experienced in my life. It's like you said, being from this small area, you know, you don't have to go to LA, you don't have to go to New York. I did things a little differently. I had to get my life established because I grew up, you know, I didn't come from money. I came up from blue
Mhm.
collar family, you know. So I had to make sure I was able to survive before I went after these dreams. So maybe if I was in my early 20s and didn't have debt, I could have
Yeah.
went to LA or New York, and it does help. But thank goodness, you know, we live in 2023. We have social media, we have the internet. You can do almost anything online.
Mhm.
99% of what I do for work when it comes to auditioning or my agents, my publicists, everything's online. So
Yeah.
it makes things 10 times easier. And so once I had my life established, that's when I started to say, all right, now I can work on my passions. What am I passionate about? Because I got no idea. And that's when I started doing the modeling and acting. And I was never really good in school. So it took me a very long time to get my fire certifications, my paramedic certifications, longer than most. But I am great with people. I'm great with my skills. And so from there, that's where it transitioned. And I started reaching out to people, making connections, and getting my name out there for the modeling and the acting. And I was in the running for a show already out in LA, but that was in 2020. COVID killed the project.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, wonderful for me, though. Everybody in casting knows each other. I was
That's
surprised.
true.
They all know each other. So I was sitting at home one day and I got a phone call that said, hey, we have an opportunity we think you would be perfect for. We need someone like you for this reality show. We can't tell you what it is or anything about it because it was all a secret. And they said, but would you be interested in going to Australia for, you know, a reality show? And on the inside, I was like, I'm packed. Let's go right now. But I
Yes.
said, that sounds like something I would be interested in. Let's talk about that. And so I applied for it, and out of, you know, I think they said like almost 5,000 applicants, they narrowed it down to us 12. And that was how I got that opportunity. And I had done some acting work before. You know, I did my short films and things of that nature, a lot of commercial work, but this was the first time I actually got to be myself. And I didn't have to read a script or anything. So it was really interesting. And it was definitely the experience of a lifetime. Being on set I'd never been outside of the country before. So you take, you know, the country boy from Ohio, and they sure played that up 100%.
I
Oh
remember
my
you saying
goodness.
that on the show. Yeah.
They're like, you've never been outside of Ohio or outside of the country. What's it like? I'm like, it's awesome. I could live here. You know, they're like, let's put Jacob in a flannel every day because he's a country boy. You know, and I'm like, I mean, I do
So
wear
they dressed
flannels.
you too. That's
Oh,
interesting to hear.
100%.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Every single one of us had our costume, or I don't want to say costume designs, but our outfits picked for us.
Okay.
A lot of times we all hated them. You know, you look at some of these episodes, you're like, wow, they're all in different colors. They all are very unique. Yeah, we didn't pick that. They did.
Yeah, yeah.
And they all had a running joke. They're like, oh, what color flannel is Jacob going to wear today? I'm like, I don't even know. They're going to tell me, though. And I I loved being on location. I love filming.
Mhm.
I come from a different world than a lot of them. I come from a, very high stress, high anxiety career where I'm in public safety. It's go, 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 life and death. So
Yeah.
the stress on set of a reality show is nothing compared to the stress of my regular job. So it was pretty much like a vacation for me. I loved every minute of it.
I love hearing that. It's like your previous work kind of prepared you for it. Like you're probably even more prepared than some people who those long hours and
Yes.
the physical stuff you guys had to do too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I loved every minute of it. I'd be sitting there just drinking coffee, like, oh, we're 16 hours in. I got at least another 12 in me, things like that. And it really threw a lot of the other players off because they seen how calm and cool and collected I was I never got worked up. And
Hmm.
I'm trained to be that way. On the inside, I might
Yeah.
be screaming and freaking out, but you'll never know because I'm trained to be calm, cool, and collected in high stress situations. So it made a lot of the other players think I was the mole.
Ah, I could see that. Yeah. It's
It
like
worked
he's
to
a
my
little
benefit.
too calm. Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, this guy, he doesn't freak out.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's really cool. I had a point that I wanted to get into. Um, I think it was about, it'll come back to me. So, what was your favorite part of being in the mole? Like, was it the other people you met, the location, the challenges?
The challenges sucked. I mean, they were very. What actually happened was we filmed for 3 months.
Mhm.
And I mean, let's just take it down to episode one. Episode one, when we were in the Daintree Rainforest, that was
Mhm.
5 days of filming. They condensed to like 40 minutes. So
Mm.
we were really, really invested and we were really getting our butts kicked almost daily on these challenges and things of that nature. And there were such strict rules and guidelines you had to follow. But you don't see all that for TV, obviously. So the challenges were okay. My favorite was like the climbing challenges. We were in the mountains and I got to actually do some physical fitness, that was a
Yeah.
blast. The people were amazing. I mean, I've never met a more nicer crew. I mean, even all the way down to production, they were the nicest, sweetest people in the world. The cast, we classified ourselves as a dysfunctional family. We loved each other, but we hated each other. It's like, yeah, this
Yeah.
feels like a family Thanksgiving for sure. Uh, but the best part were the locations. I mean, I got to experience things I'd never seen in my entire life. I got to see the
Mhm.
oldest rainforest in the world. I got to wake up to sunrises on the ocean on my own private beaches. I got to
Mm.
spend days in the outback in an old western town where their population was like 200, and we come in and quadruple their population of their town.
Right.
And I mean, it was just experiences that I'll never probably get to relive again.
Oh, that's beautiful. That sounds like so much fun. Did you ever find yourself feeling homesick since it was your first time being out of the country?
Very little,
Yeah.
surprisingly, because what a lot of people don't realize is we had no communication with the outside world.
Right.
They
Right.
took our cell phones, they took all of, I mean, if we would get the opportunity to stay in a hotel room, they would disconnect the TVs from internet. Like
Mm.
we would have like cable TV. We'd have like 6 channels. And so I got to call home once and talk to my mom, talk to my sister, but it was still just like a vacation. I was experiencing life like I'd always wanted to. So I knew I was going home in a couple months. So,
Yeah.
if you go abroad, of course, like I miss my bed,
Yeah.
I miss my solitude, but I'm getting
Mhm.
to experience these worldly places. So I was slightly homesick, but nothing too crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
It's
was too busy
worth.
having fun.
Yeah. Exactly. I love hearing that. Um. So do you feel like, so when you were talking about like the project in LA and COVID happened and it didn't work out, but like we were talking about earlier, how certain things don't work out and it can turn to something even better. And you also mentioned how in casting, everyone knows each other. So, have you had an experience where from doing that has led to other opportunities from just knowing the other people, other producers and casting directors and the other actors?
Yeah, I mean, that's how my whole career has been.
Yeah.
I I did it on my own up until the point where I've gotten representation in Ohio and the surrounding states. But from there, I had my very first short film I ever did was A Wonderful Woman in Pennsylvania, and she
Mhm.
took a huge risk on me because she said, "You have the look that I want. I want to give you the opportunity to be the lead male role in my short film, so we can get funding for the full length feature." And I said, "Absolutely, I'll do it." Well, from there, I met other people who I was acting with who introduced me to other agencies, who introduced me to casting people, who got me invested in the Mole, who opened up doors to the Australian Firefighters Calendar, who opened up doors to my
Yeah.
publicist and my manager. I mean, it's just, like I said earlier, it's a snowball effect, domino
Mhm.
effect, one thing
Mhm.
after the other, and it leads to all these connections and all these people. It's amazing how that works.
Yeah, it is amazing. Like literally you get on set for one thing and you might just be set for life just
Yeah.
from those connections alone and how they, like you said, snowball into more connections and more people like, yeah, Jacob was really great on set. Like, let's bring him on this. Like, I think being professional as well really gives you a leg up versus someone who might be complaining about the
Oh,
hours and the elements and like, yeah, I don't want to work with that guy again.
that is 100% my greatest skill and my greatest asset is
Yeah.
people. I am great with
Hmm.
people. And so when I'm on set, no matter what the job, I'm having a blast. I'm like, you mean to tell me I'm getting paid to look or do something with my hands and I'm not having to run 911 emergency calls? Thank you,
Yes. I know, that's amazing. I remember what I was going to get into, how quickly things happen on Netflix. Like you had that month of that notoriety, you're like, woo, and then your next thing, Too Hot to Handle comes on, and the
Oh
other
yeah.
things come on. It's like,
They're like, let's talk about the Mole for a month. Oh, Twitter, or I'm sorry, X, whatever we call it these days,
yeah,
was, I did not realize how big the community was for reality
yeah,
TV.
yeah.
Oh my lord, it is insane. I don't
Mhm.
watch reality TV. I showed up on set that first day and they're like, "This is actually a TV show that's been on in the past. Do you have any idea what you're here for?" I'm like, "Am I on The Bachelor?" And they're like, "No, Jacob, it's not The Bachelor." They're like, "It's The Mole." And I'm like, "Cool." They're like, "You've never heard of The Mole?" I'm like, they're like, "Anderson Cooper." I'm like, "Mm-mm." They're like, "Good luck, man."
That's amazing. Yeah, I think I vaguely remembered the mole from when I was like a kid, maybe. I
Yeah,
don't
early
think.
2000s, I think it was.
Yeah, yeah. That's so amazing that they were able to keep that secret and they sprung it on you and you're like, okay,
Yeah, I'm like, well, I'm here anyways. Let's get
let's
to it.
go. Well, that'd be really cool though. Like, what if you were on The Bachelor? Oh my gosh.
You
That's
know
one of my
what?
guilty pleasures.
After doing a reality TV show that was more of like a suspenseful competition series, the
Yeah.
drama that was involved in my show, I couldn't imagine doing a dating show. Oh
Oh
my
yeah, where
lord.
hearts are
It would be
involved and love.
horrible.
Oh.
That show was stressful enough.
Yeah, yeah, that's a different level of stress. So like when you were
Granted,
on set and yeah, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
oh no, I was just gonna say beggars can't be choosers. I'd take whatever I can get. So
Right, right. Yeah, I think it's interesting how the dynamic was on set where you guys were kind of competing against each other, but still liked each other. But now that the pressure's
mhm.
off, do you maintain those relationships?
Yeah, we all still talk. I mean, it's slowed
That's
down over the
good.
year, but we're all in a group chat
Yeah.
together and we'll just give each other crap once in a while
I
and
was
get a
going to
hold of
ask
each
you,
other
is there
like,
a group chat?
Yeah, it's funny sometimes when someone is either like posting on Instagram or live streaming, you'll see some of us pop in and just, be like, I see you, or, like, oh, look who the mole's here, things like that. And it's fun. Yeah, we
I
all give
love
each other
that.
grief still.
That's awesome. So tell me about the Australian firefighter calendar. Looks amazing. Looks like so much fun.
It's supposed to become available in the United States this week. I
Oh,
just got
wow. What
information from
timing?
them. Yeah. I just got a message yesterday about how they're pushing this week because it's for sale right now in Australia and New Zealand, obviously, because it's
Mhm.
closest, but they've got to wait for all the stuff to get here in the United States before they can start selling.
Yeah.
So that was also another experience of a lifetime. I always had this notion where, what, I'm a firefighter. At first, it was a joke, like I'm going to be in a calendar. And then I kind of made it
Mhm.
a goal of mine before I turned 30. I wanted to be in a firefighter calendar. Well, I'd reached out to the Australian firefighters because they're obviously the largest one in the world.
Yeah.
And they liked my story. They liked who I was, where I've come from, what I did to get here, especially with my physical fitness journey. And they said, hey, we're bringing in international firefighters because this is our 30th year and going into their 31st. They're like, so we would love to have you come to Australia and be one of the 2 Americans to get to be featured in our calendar. And I was like, or at least try to be featured in the calendars. And I'm like, I have 2 months to prep my body. Crap. Okay,
Mhm.
let's get to work. And so it was the most amazing experience. I mean, to be able to not only showcase my personality as a firefighter, but also the work I've put into my physique, and also all for such an amazing cause. I mean, it's a charity, so the money goes to
Yeah.
such amazing causes. And that was another experience where the Aussies just took us in and accept us. They were so excited and so happy to have us there.
Aw.
When you think of guys at the gym, you're like, I hope I'm not stepping on anybody's toes
Mhm.
because, I don't want to take anybody's limelight. I'm an American coming to Australia for their
Mhm.
calendar. They didn't see it that way. They're like, this is the most amazing thing ever. We have people from all over the world. And so I got to be a part of that. And, I'm actually in prep right now for next year's calendar because I got invited back.
Oh, I love
So,
that. Yes.
yes, after I came home, I went through the whole bulking phase where I added, some weight to try to get myself physically fit again, get bigger,
Mhm.
stronger. And so now I'm in prep, getting ready for next year's calendar.
That's really cool. And when you speak about those things, like it just makes me think about um how something I realized on my journey. It's like literally be careful what you wish for because when you get it, make sure you're ready. Make sure you're ready to just fly out in a few days and the things you have to put on hold and leave behind, but make sure you're ready, you're rested, you're healthy. like
My publicist tells me that all the time because if I start complaining, I'm like, I just got too many auditions I've got to get done. I said, these are requirements. He's like, you shut your mouth, Jacob. He's like, this is what you wished for. He's like,
right.
careful what you wish for. You got it.
That's so funny that's what your
I'll have to tag,
agent says too.
I'll have to tag him in this. I'll be like, hey, Steven, look what.
yeah.
Mm,
The universe is getting through to you.
mm-hmm.
Wow. So what do you feel like is your next big goal?
I have some large goals. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, do you remember me telling you earlier on how when I was younger, I struggled with obesity? When I was in
Yes.
junior high going into high school, I was 287 pounds. I was pushing 300
Oh.
pounds as a young man, and it was
Yeah.
very, very hard. So it took me like 10 years to get to a point where I could be in this firefighter calendar, 10 years of hard work and dedication. So getting in the mindset of doing a bulk this past year was so hard for me.
Yeah.
Purposefully putting on weight to make myself uncomfortable to be able to be bigger and better for next year's calendar. So that was the hardest mental hurdle I've had to overcome yet.
Mhm.
So obviously, my number one goal is to be prepared for next year's firefighter calendar. But also on that list of goals is, I mean, obviously, I want to be, in like a Hallmark holiday movie. Who doesn't? I mean,
Oh,
I am perfect for a romance comedy.
oh my gosh.
Everybody's gonna have that look. Obviously, if I'm not playing Superman, I'd belong in a love story. So I
That's
got to be in a Hallmark
hilarious.
movie.
My readers or my fans who hear this are going to be in the comments because they always say, like, if you see me in around the holidays, they're like, you need to be in a Hallmark movie. Like, I'd love to be in one and write one.
Yes, you should. Oh, producer, actress, the
Yeah,
whole kit and caboodle. You got so
maybe
many.
I'll write it for you. I will have you at top of my list.
There you go. I'm ready. I will, it can be just like all the other ones, a woman who comes back home to her small town from the city because she lost the spirit of Christmas and her husband left her, and she meets the rugged single man who lives in the woods by himself. He's chopping wood and teaches her the spirit of Christmas. The typical holiday show. Everybody's seen it a million times.
Yes.
But yeah, so if
That's
anybody knows
hilarious.
anybody from Hallmark
Yeah.
who watches this, I'm
That's
your guy.
hilarious. I literally made a post around COVID because that's what I did when COVID happened. I moved from my like uptown high rise to like my small like town like near a farm to be with my parents during the pandemic. And then I was like, guys, this is hilarious. Big time writer leaves the city, goes back to the country and meets a hot farmer.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's what happens. It was like, true to life.
It's a true Hallmark moment.
Yeah. It's like, what is happening? No, I love that. Those are big dreams and big goals. And I have no doubt you'll get them. Like, I have no doubt you will get them. That's so awesome.
Someday I will. It's in the goal, obviously,
Yeah.
that, then to be in some type of major motion picture.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to do, some type of Western, obviously, because
Really?
who doesn't want to be a cowboy?
Oh my gosh. We need more more Westerns.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite Western?
Oh my goodness. That is tough. I like
I
the
know.
old TV shows. You can't beat the old TV shows like McClintock, Bat Masterson, things like that. But if it has to be a movie, I'm going to sound so stereotypical. But you cannot surpass the movie Tombstone.
Yes, that's the correct answer. That's the only right answer. It's stereotypical because it's true.
It is. Nothing will ever top it. But you can't surpass. Sam Elliott. Well, he has a lot of wonderful westerns.
Yes.
Yeah. But there's so many. Many.
That's awesome. I love that. So I'm so happy you were able to join us today. Definitely can't wait to bring you on again. We have another person from the original mole coming on soon, guys. So
that's cool.
Yes, it's so cool. I was like, I wanted to get you guys together, but I really wanted to feature you today. So next time we'll do a bigger one. And is there anything you want to say to everyone? Where can we follow you? Where can we cast you?
You know what I've learned is the best way to communicate with others is through social media. My Instagram is my number one source of communication, whether it be just for the fans or for casting. So follow me on Instagram. You can find me Jacob Hacker, but Jacob Eugene Hacker is my actual handle. It'll come right up. You'll see my beautiful smiling face. And reach out to me there. I would love to have, comments. I would love to connect with others, especially fans or people who would watch this. So shoot me a message. We'll gossip.
Oh, I love it. Love it so much. Thank you so much for being here today. Guys, you could find me at official K and Lee, and I'll see you next time on K and Lee TV.